All right, this is Rosina. I'm here with Matt again, and we're going to talk about marketing. How do you market a champions group within the church? One thing that you had talked about previously is laying the groundwork, even before word of mouth, which you said was the most important thing you can do. So, how do you lay the groundwork? What did you do? You go to a large church, there's like, what, 3,000 people?
Yeah,
So, how do you lay the groundwork for your group?
yeah. Well, first off, I really work closely, obviously, with my pastor, and really got advice from him and worked together with him on how to best market this thing and how to make people aware of, hey, we're here. This is what we do. We'd love for you to come. So really what the first thing that I did was I made up some flyers and I just put out a table and I waited outside at a table. So after the service was over, people come walking by. I'm able to be there and hand out information and answer questions about, hey, this is this new group. We'd love for you to be a part of it, or anybody that you know to be a part of it. So that was our first step. And then at my church, there are 3 services. There's a Saturday night service and 2 Sunday morning services. And my pastor allowed me to get up there and speak to the entire congregation on what we're doing. It didn't even take 5 minutes, but I was able to stand up there and explain what our group is, explain, who we're looking for and who we're aiming to help. And that really helped. I mean, obviously we were able to reach the entire congregation,
Right.
by doing that, and not to mention all the people that are watching online. And another tool is social media. I put it out on Facebook. I encouraged other people to share it or talk to. Hey, if you know somebody or yourself are struggling, let me know and we can help you. And then comes the word of mouth. So you have to get the group started first. And I guess don't be discouraged if your group starts with only a handful of people, because that's how mine started, and that's how it probably will start. But I would definitely encourage you to tell the people at your group to tell their friends about it, to tell their family about it. And there's something special that happens with word of mouth that you can't get with anything else, because people can see the joy on your face. People can read your body language and know that this is something that I want to be a part of. And so with the combination of all those things, it's really gotten the group to grow. And I make sure that I still go in front of the church once every month or two. Whenever I feel like God is telling me it's time to do this again, I'll ask my pastor and he'll allow me to go up and address the congregation again, just to let them know that we're here.
Right, that's fantastic. So let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's start with the announcement. We'll just call it announcement basics. So you're up on stage and you're trying to remove the stigma about addiction. And so, how do you do that? How do you remove the stigma through an announcement?
Yeah. Well, you do have to be careful to not get too overexcited with the congregation, but all while being real about it and being truthful. I really make it a point to let the congregation know that, hey, there's somebody sitting in this room right now that is addicted to something. There's somebody sitting in this room right now that probably shot heroin up in their veins before they came to church. That's just the sad reality of the world we live in right now.
Right.
So really, it forces them to understand that there are people in our church that are doing drugs, but they deserve the help just as much as anybody else does. So I really make it a point to, let the congregation know we shouldn't be judging these people. Which, when I say these people, I'm talking about myself too.
Right.
We shouldn't be judging the addicted. We should be wanting to help them. We've all got problems that we have, and in God's eyes, they're all the same. If you're looking at somebody who's addicted in a different way, and you're going home and you're going and watching porn on your TV, you're no different than anybody else. And in God's eyes, like I said, it's all the same. So I really make it a point to say, hey, there are people that need help. We need to find those people and we need to help them.
That's great. And so you're not, when you make the announcement, you're not limiting it to just people who have a drug problem. You're saying all of the addicted?
I am. And what's interesting is we have people that are addicted to drugs. We have people that are addicted to alcohol, pornography, lust. I mean, you name it. Bipolar disorder. I know that's not an addiction, but people struggle with that,
Mm-hmm.
and it does a lot of times go hand in hand with addiction. But
Right.
I also have a gentleman, an older gentleman in my group that brings so much wisdom to the group, who himself has never been an addict, but he's lost a son to addiction. So he brings just a completely different dynamic in a different spirit and a wisdom to our group, which I encourage that. So you don't want to limit it to you have to be addicted or formerly addicted. And if you think that that person can bring something to the group, just let them come and see what God does with it. But I also made it a point to be our information to be in the bulletin, the church bulletin every week, and it was just something very simple of, hey, men's champions group, this is the room, this is the time, that's it. But it's in there every week, and so people they look through that thing and they'll see it, and it's good to just for them to know that we're here and that we're still here.
So it's separated by sex. You make that clear. You put the time and the location. Do you also put the age that you're looking for?
Yeah, we do. We really, it's 18 years or older,
Okay.
just for the simple fact that we talk about some things in there that are heavy
Yeah.
and that a lot of teenagers just couldn't handle,
Right.
and it's just not appropriate for teenagers. There's other things for them if they're struggling with that. But we do, and it does have to be separated from males to females. It just wouldn't work like it should if it was integrated like that. Because oftentimes I have worked with addicted females in the past, and the problems that they face are so different than the problems that the males face. And there's just a camaraderie there, the brotherhood within the guys and the sisterhood within the women that wouldn't be possible if it was mixed together.
Right, absolutely. And so let me jump back to the announcements for a second. So when you're making an announcement from church, from the stage, number one, do you try and coordinate that at all with the message that the pastor is giving? And secondly, do you ever integrate a testimony from someone who, maybe was in your group who's overcome an addiction to give more credibility to your group?
Yes and yes. So going back, I will approach my pastor, and I really try to give him an ample amount of time to work it out and to get us up there, because we all know our pastors are super busy, and we want to be respectful and not come up to him and be like, hey, I need to talk this Sunday, because chances are that's just not going to happen.
Right.
So I really try to give him a certain amount of time of, I would really like to, get back in front of the church within a month or a month and a half, and really let the pastor work out when that best fits, because that's not up to us. It is up to the pastor. We're the leader of the champions group. The pastor's the leader of the church. So oftentimes, well, not even oftentimes, every time, it has to, for my pastor, he really likes to have it have something to do with the message, because there are other small groups within the church, and we don't want it to seem like he's just having us up there, just to speak. And why not? If it's going to go along, with what the sermon's about that week, that's what we try to do. And I would say, man, 90% of the time that I've gone up in front of the congregation, I've brought one of my guys with me to be able to say, hey, this is who I was before I went into the group. This is who I am now. And it always ties in with the message. So I'm actually doing that here in a couple weeks. And the message is on the power of praise. And God will give you the person that you think best fits that. So as soon as my pastor told me that, I had a guy in mind immediately. And I talked to him about it. And it's going to allow me to get up there and say, here, we're here. This is what we're doing. We would love to have you. But it also allows one of my guys to get up there and be like, this is what the group has done for me. And to me, there's not much more that's more powerful than that.
I would totally agree. There's nothing more powerful than a testimony. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and
That's
by
right.
the word of the testimony. And that's kind of the bridge between your group and the congregation, is seeing that living proof. So that's a great way to wrap up some just overall basics on marketing. So thanks, Matt.
All right. Thank you, Rosina.